Good evening and welcome to Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. I'm Chris Hansen. Tonight, some exclusive material having to do with all these different content creators who appear to be vicious predators online. You saw one of our recent shows on EDP 445. Well, his original YouTube channel is gone, but he's already getting ready to launch another. We've talked about some others over the years, Onision being one of them. And tonight, we're going to take a look at a content creator called WithaWonder who advocates, believe it or not, sexual relations between adults and kids as young as 14 years old. Now, we look at this in the big picture of what YouTube does to police its platform and what it doesn't do, as well as what it should do. We'll also take a look at the legality of all of this and how do some content creators walk right up to that fine line of being outrageous in an effort to get clicks and views by being outrageous, and where is that line crossed? And when does some of this activity become illegal? This is another collaboration with our good friend, Moast. Wes, thanks for being with us again tonight.
Thank you, Chris.
So let's set up what we're going to see first, which is essentially an interview that you were able to get with WithaWonder. And this person had been dodging you, and by extension me, for some time. Why do you think he finally talked to you, and how did you get the interview?
Well, a lot of people have wanted to talk to him since he was exposed, and I reached out to him, and he immediately blocked me and had no interest in talking to me. And I found him he was doing a live stream a few days later, and I went in and asked him. I said, hey, I know you blocked me on Twitter, but I'd like to ask you some questions. And he said, I don't want to answer any questions. And I kind of went back and forth with him a little bit, and then he ended up doing a 90-minute question and answer while there were 12, 13 people in his live stream. So for someone who didn't want to talk, he went on, and he didn't really say a whole lot that he hadn't already said before or said on Twitter. It was a lot of defending himself, but you'll see in the video it's more of the documentary about the situation and how he came about and different things because this isn't the first time these allegations have been made.
All right, Wes, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Let's take a look.
There's people working their ass off, building society, and I am leeching off society, and I'm the one benefiting. That is, but at least I can acknowledge that it's up. I can admit that I'm a leech, and my purpose in life is I'm breathing the oxygen, and I'm leeching off society. That's what I'm doing, and I can admit it is really up.
What are my opinions on WithaWonder? He needs help. He honestly needs help, but no one seems to care to get it for him. At least not his so-called fan base.
One night, I was really, really, really lazy, and I pissed inside a large bottle, and I've been too lazy to clean it up, so I have to clean it up. I'll show it to you guys.
Terrible, terrible person. I did a video on him not too long ago, maybe a week or so, and just that short glimpse of digging into his life.
You want to know what? I'm gonna sue Twitch for fat prejudice. Twitch banned me because I'm fat.
Nothing redeemable about him.
I have a 200 IQ. I have a tested 200 IQ, but the doctor did say I'm slightly autistic, so like
nothing interesting about him.
I have like the type of autism that like I think there's this movie called The Rain Man where someone's autistic but super intelligent. That's kind of like what I am.
Nothing entertaining about him. It's all really embarrassing and really gross.
Oh, you don't have to tell the FBI I'm a pedophile.
And I'm surprised that anybody not only watches WithaWonder, I'm surprised that anyone supports WithaWonder.
I will openly admit that I like having sex with 16-year-old girls.
If you count all the creators I've talked about from all platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, just random Twitter, anything like that, the least likable person I've ever seen.
I'm proud of being a pedophile. I like having sex with 16-year-old girls, and that means I'm a pedophile, and I'm cool with it.
He needs help. He honestly needs help.
So yeah, about the accusations. Basically, all the accusations are fake. I've done nothing illegal, but I basically mostly I was trolling, just trying to piss people off. But I guess since I got all these accusations against me, I should say the full truth. Basically what I'm saying is 13-year-old girls are basically, not all 13-year-old girls, but most of them, or a lot of them, they're already just like doing it with all their freaking school friends anyway, right?
Hey.
YouTube. It's the second most visited site on the planet and has created countless opportunities from a platform that not long ago would have sounded like something out of a science fiction movie. With little more than a camera, literally anyone could carve out their own broadcast studio from the comfort of their own home. In the last 11 years alone, there have been a number of mega success stories. From Justin Bieber, to Lily Singh, to the more recent success of pint-sized mogul Ryan Kaji of Ryan's World, and dozens more. But this silver lining just happens to border a very dark cloud, because in that same decade where those stars were born, a number of larger, notable creators on the platform were exposed and erased from YouTube for a number of infractions, from cancelable events to major capital crimes. The issue is, for every rat YouTube manages to catch, there are potentially hundreds of mice in the walls operating unabated, unopposed, and completely unnoticed. Let's be clear, YouTube has a predator problem. But perhaps the bigger problem is that they either don't care or are woefully ill-prepared to deal with and control the situation. Meet YouTuber WithaWonder.
If I look like a shredded god 4 years from now, then I'm gonna pretty much say that's proof that vitamin D might be like a Super Saiyan nutrient or something like that.
And this is alleged funny man Jorn Comedy.
Mr. Jorrun Comedy! Why am I wearing shades? My blue eyes are my superpower.
Odds are, you've never heard of these men before. But they both make content featuring their own unique brands of comedy. While it's true they share an affinity for cringeworthy meme-fueled content,
Here we go. My name is Jorn, and I'm here to say I like rapping in a major way.
and that both men tried and failed at stand-up comedy,
I'm getting tired of pedophiles, man. They're on every television channel now. You can't turn on the TV without seeing them. Anyone seen that show, Catch a Predator, with Chris Hansen? Tell me now, is that show not the worst publicity ever for white people? Could they just please move that show to a black neighborhood just one time?
Racist? I think that was racist. I think that sounded kind of racist, which means Lorne approves.
there is an even more damning link between the two. In June 2021, 33-year-old WithaWonder was banned from Twitch after years of making disturbing statements about his desire to date underage females.
Just wonder if there's any kids around here, you know? Just trying to hang out with the kids, you know? Just have some fun, play some games, and, you know, just become friends with the kids around here. That's what, I'm just streaming myself doing this, you know? I like to become friends with.
He was finally booted after being caught in a DM exchange, allegedly having a conversation with someone he believed to be underage.
I like to become friends with kids, and we can have fun and be like best friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
What's your plan for tonight?
Nothing really.
Nothing really.
Brothers and sisters, thank you for coming out this Sunday morning to church. I am the Most High Reverend Pastor Jeremiah Rose, and I will be preaching today's sermon from the Big Book of Comedy.
One year earlier, in July of 2020, 49-year-old YouTuber Jorn Comedy was exposed within his own community for preying on female members. That wasn't all though, as he freely admitted to having inappropriate conversations with high school girls as young as 14. But there were other secrets he was hoping to keep to himself. The question is, how and why are these two men still allowed to operate on YouTube? And just how many potential predators are hiding behind punchlines on this wildly popular platform? But first, let's get back to current YouTuber and former Twitch streamer, WithaWonder. This scantily clad jokester from the great state of Hawaii has been slowly building an audience since 2006. His streams can easily top 10 hours each and usually feature him eating, reacting to reaction videos, or ranting about various topics. Sometimes it was a mix of all three at the same time, and almost always while in a reclined or lying position. He was living a mostly quiet existence with 21,000 followers on Twitch until June 2021, when he was removed from Twitch for violating their terms of service. A Twitch ban in itself is no big deal and probably occurs countless times per day. This would be no ordinary channel removal, as several publications ran stories about this Twitch ban and various YouTubers did content about this little-known entertainer, with many calling him the next EDP 445.
I am looking for a girlfriend, and the reason I say no fat chicks is because I'm sure a super hot girl is gonna watch this video and want to get with me, so if I can get with a super hot girl, why would I waste my time with a fat girl? It just doesn't make any sense.
Just like EDP, WithaWonder is edgy, opinionated, offensive, and foul-mouthed, but the comparisons don't stop there. Just like EDP, WithaWonder was unabashedly candid in his attraction and desire to date underage girls.
I said, I think age 13 is a good legal age to set the laws at, and I don't see anything morally wrong with that, because 13-year-old girls are already like, if you have a 13-year-old girl, you put her in the public school system, they're already just like doing it with all their freaking school friends anyway, right?
If these were jokes, they weren't funny. But in an exclusive interview with me, he claimed his traffic went up 800% when he started making these statements.
I was basically saying that shit on Twitter, trolling my ass off, trying to piss people off, intentionally trolling on Twitter. I always thought 12 is way too young. Of course, 12 is way too young. But back then, I guess I will admit back then, in my moral view, I thought 13 was a fine age of consent.
Were they tasteless jokes made to create controversy and views? You could argue that. But then why send a minor a sexually explicit video?
If it was legal, and I was attracted to them at age 14, I don't see a moral problem with it. But I'm not even attracted to girls that age, so even if it was legal, I wouldn't even do it. I'm not even attracted to girls that age. I'm attracted to girls around age 18.
Jorrun Comedy.
Hi kids, would you like to hear a story? Yes! Okay.
If WithaWonder was considered a small streamer with 21,000 subscribers, Jorn was a micro content creator with less than 200 subs at his peak. He's an actor, appearing in one of the only movies ever produced by the Church of Satan back in 2002 when he starred as Todd in the smut movie Cricket Snapper.
You like that, huh? Look, face, if I even so much as hear you've been beating Helena, frying pan into the fire. You hear me? You got.
For over 10 years, Jorn has languished on YouTube seeking fame, fortune, acceptance, and maybe a little magic.
If this works, it'll be a minor miracle. A minor miracle, I say.
Jorn also fancies himself a talented musician, but he put much more effort into his comedy that largely focused on the differences between alphas and betas.
Because when you're the alpha male, everyone wants to take you down, children.
Just a reminder, this is a 49-year-old man. He is a former member of the To Catch a Predator community here on YouTube, a loosely connected group that makes videos analyzing and sometimes satirizing content focused on To Catch a Predator and related series. In early 2020, Jorn started his comedy channel, choosing the imaginative moniker Jorn Comedy. It would feature skits, poetry, and music.
Once upon a time, you would tell me I was yours. Once upon a time, you loved me till you couldn't anymore. Once upon a time.
If you think his music was bad, his comedy was arguably worse.
Man, that Vince Nakocha, man, what a jerk. The stuff he said to poor Wes Moast. Damn. He said Wes Most's ancestors must know a thing or two about being lynched. But then he said Wes needed a haircut, and I'm like, you do not say that kind of things.
Talent level aside, his content was known for being not just cringe, but extremely over-sexualized. He would relentlessly hit on females of all ages, begging for selfies from women almost 30 years younger than him. He would also use the personal information collected from his Streamlabs donations to learn the real names and identities of donors. This is strange behavior for anyone, but especially strange when you consider it was coming from a 49-year-old man within a community where many members were either victimized or know someone who is a survivor of abuse. He either didn't understand or didn't care about personal boundaries and consent. He was problematic, but for the most part, people either found him harmless or just flat out ignored him. The fact that a lot of his content and comments he made seemed to fetishize genies was a bit strange, but he was just joking, right? He did ask several females privately if they ever wore their hair in high ponytails with big hoop earrings, but he didn't dare tell them the reason for his inquiry. Just 7 months after starting his channel, Jorn would go from making fun of predators to joining their ranks as he was exposed.
The genie stretched and yawned. She was so beautiful.
Jorn has a genie fetish that he himself admits has greatly affected and in some ways ruined his life. This isn't brought up to kink shame, but for context. He owns a single gold high-heeled shoe. He reads adult-oriented genie-based webcomics. Here he is leaving very enthusiastic comments about cartoon characters.
I don't care how many people will disagree with me for this. If I had Araceli on my bed, calling me master, I'm pulling her into the bed. Look at that open mouth.
And he even has genie bottles proudly displayed in his own home.
So yeah, I dream of genie bottles, guys. You now know a little something more about me.
He had a playlist of over 300 genie-related videos, including many featuring Coachella Valley High School cheerleaders. Their mascot, the genie. At one point, you could actually go to almost any genie-related video on YouTube and beyond, and Jorn would have already beaten you there, leaving his own creepy comments along the way. The high ponytail and hoop earrings Jorn asked so many females about wearing was to further fuel his fantasy, as that was part of the genie look he so desired.
She was so beautiful. with long ebony hair pulled back into a high ponytail. She had gold, curly-toed slippers that matched her large hoop earring.
Then, Jorn had a female community member record a sketch he wrote involving a genie that to him was very sexually arousing.
I knew that certain things that were going to be said by a woman was going to be a turn on for me.
He did not tell her his intentions and did not share with her that this was a fantasy of his.
Did I make her say things that were very sexy to me? Absolutely, yes.
Instead, when the truth came out and she was understandably upset, Jorn promised to delete the video, only to keep it on private so he can enjoy it again later.
And she had no idea that what she was recording was stuff that I found arousing. She had no idea at any time.
But this is merely scratching the surface. Because as part of his apology, Jorn also admitted to speaking with high school girls as young as 14.
Have you ever interacted with anyone underage online, whether they initiated contact or you felt it was innocent or not?
High school girls, yes. I've been doing this so long. I very much don't want to, take the first step on a path that leads to something really bad. And
Sure.
I think my foot is already on that path.
I have absolutely got aroused looking at pictures of high school girls.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But that's not what I mean. You know what the question is going to be next, though, right?
Have I pleasured myself?
Sure, yeah, that's one of them, and your answer would be what?
Yes.
Okay.
As well as pleasuring himself while liking the pictures of children on Instagram.
What's even worse than that? I've hit the like button on pics of little girls.
Children dressed as genies.
Children wearing the same types of outfits that turn me on the most.
Some as young as 8 years old.
If I lived in a country where 14 was legal, and I was attracted to those girls, then sure. I guess I don't see a moral problem with it. So sure, maybe I'd do it if it was consensual.
On Wednesday, June 21st, 2021, Redditor Waffles Are Extinct posted a thread on the popular Livestream Fail subreddit. The post included screenshots of a graphic conversation between a decoy and WithaWonder. WithaWonder would go on to allegedly send a video of himself in a state of arousal. Now, what goes on between two adults is their own business, and in ordinary situations, this would be a non-story. Only, the female communicating with WithaWonder was just 17 years old, and had told him that when they had first started talking. According to the screenshots, his actual response was, "Young, I like that." When she let him know he was caught and would be exposed for speaking with the minor, he simply replied with a racial slur. He immediately backtracked, insisting he had been joking the whole time, knew he was being trolled, and that he was just playing along. This is certainly a popular excuse, most recently used by EDP when he was initially caught, but is it really a valid excuse?
No, and I hate the culture of I was just trolling, I was just joking. Every single time you do something and you get caught up being an idiot and a dummy, you can't just say you were trolling or just being silly or joking. No, you had passionate arguments with people with one follower on Twitter about the laws of underage girls, bro. That's not joking. You are very serious.
Now to be clear, WithaWonder lives in Hawaii, and the age of consent is actually 16 instead of the 18 years of age in many US states. So a chat with a 17-year-old would not be illegal if she was in Hawaii, but this decoy was in another state completely. This was also not the first minor to come forward with similar evidence. Besides, in his videos he often speaks of his preferred age, and it is considerably younger than 17. Not long after his encounter, he asked his livestream if there was a method to completely wipe a hard drive of its data. If dating a 17-year-old is legal in Hawaii, then what is on his hard drive that he is so wanting to destroy?
Okay, so I'm curious. Is there like a program I could download and it deletes every single video off my hard drive? Like WMV, MP4, just every video file just gets deleted. Is that possible?
Actually,
because I gotta find a program like that. Just delete every video. Oh man.
So I have the type of autism that makes you super f***ing intelligent.
Microwave the hard drive. That's smart.
It sounded like the request of a very guilty man. It's probably because, in the eyes of the law, if these screenshots are real, he is a very guilty man. While the age of consent in Hawaii is in fact 16, the federal age of consent is 18. And federal law forbids traveling to another state and engaging in sexual activity with a minor, defined as anyone under 18. Federal law also forbids transporting a minor, again, anyone under 18, in interstate or foreign commerce with the intent of engaging in criminal sexual acts in which a person can be charged. His conversations about flying these girls to Hawaii to engage in sexual acts broke the law. And although he has backtracked now and said he never had these conversations, that wasn't the case a few months ago when he was proudly saying he could do what he wanted as long as they were over the age of 16. Had these been police stings instead of online activists, WithaWonder would be wondering just how many years he would be housed by the Hawaiian Federal Prison Bureau. This too he would later claim was a joke. It's difficult to accept that explanation when you look at the body of work, because he has made his desire to sleep with underage females a regular part of his content.
In Hawaii, the legal age of consent to have sex is 16 years old. However, there is a close-in-age exception that allows girls under 13 years old to have sex. Wow, really? That is crazy. Basically, yeah, 16 years old is the age of consent in Hawaii, so yeah, nothing's gonna happen to me.
He said it often. So often that 3 years ago, a YouTuber named Her Randoms made 2 videos raising the flag to warn others about WithaWonder hitting on minors, and nothing was done. This is the same grown man who posted this tweet. Having consensual sex with a 14-year-old girl is less of a crime than stealing a 6-pack of Coke. She knows the situation. Once these allegations were levied on Reddit, they took on a life of their own, leading to worldwide exposure. Across YouTube, various streamers and channels covered the story. One of those YouTubers being Penguin Zero, who shared his opinions in a video that has been viewed over 2 million times. This is the same Penguin Zero that just a few months earlier did a report on EDP that has gained over 8 million views on YouTube, now bringing attention to a problematic streamer that just a month earlier would have been impossible to pick out of a police lineup. 2 million plus people watching, judging, and disgusted at what they saw. WithaWonder didn't ignore the allegations, but what he did was arguably worse. He didn't go the Austin Jones route and make a fake apology. Instead, he made a video titled, "My Response to the Accusations." It was bad, as he only doubled down on some of his more outrageous claims.
You can't argue against this. If I don't go to jail within the next 6 years, that means I'm right.
Did he really mean it when he said in his moral view, as long as the girl was 13 plus and had reached puberty, that it was okay to date her? He was booted from Twitch, yet remains on YouTube where he has a much smaller platform. There would be many interview requests, but he wouldn't speak with anyone until I managed to catch him in a live stream. What followed then was a bizarre 90-minute question and answer in which he continued to say he didn't want to talk, only to keep talking.
I think no one cares, and I don't care. So Chris Hansen can talk about me if he wants to. I don't care. I'm not even famous. Like, I understand doing it to EDP like he's famous, so they made a news story about him. Well, you can tell Chris Hansen this, okay? The naked videos that they got of me, I posted those naked videos into a porn Discord, and they took that video from the porn section and they used it. And beyond that, I don't really care about saying anything else. And I'll say this. I'll say this. So now I will unblock you. I'm looking for the setting. Explain your statements about the 13 and 14-year-olds. You mean what I said on Twitter? In all the videos of me discussing minors. So, any screenshot or any piece of so-called evidence showing anything illegal, period, is fake. Including stuff from years ago. So that means anything you could ever bring up, I can just repost that and say, yeah, it's fake. So there you go. Everything you bring up is fake. If it was legal, say 14 years old. If it was legal, say 14 years old, and I had the chance, I would prefer to press a magical button to speed her up 5 years. Because I find 19-year-old girls pretty much the most attractive. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not attracted to 14-year-old girls, but I learned that I don't even have to be attracted to the bitch to have sex with her. I have had sex with girls that are, let's just say, extremely, extremely disgusting and ugly looking. Like, they don't even look human. I guess I would want people to know that I'm a super morally good guy. If I have autism, I'm one of the most highest functioning autism people in the universe, in the world, because I'm pretty genius. I was targeted because there was video of me saying ultra offensive stuff, and that's basically what happened. The use of the N-word. I remember I said, like, did I say the N-word, or did I?
By the end of our interview, one thing was clear. These allegations will follow WithaWonder for the remainder of his life, and joking or not, he will be labeled dangerous in many people's eyes.
Should the non... I'm sorry.
The downfall of Jorn Comedy was just as swift and sudden when this 49-year-old man was exposed by a decoy over the 4th of July weekend in 2020. Jorn will forever rue the day he chose to employ predatory tactics within a community where a few vocal members proudly troll predators. He tried to make amends, releasing a low-effort, rehearsed, and much maligned apology video in which he admitted to a number of known offenses.
I apologize to all the people in the TCAP community, and especially the women. I have behaved inappropriately with so many women in the community. I can't even remember them all.
While owning up to a few others that most people were unaware of.
For most of my life, I've had a fetish for genies, harem girls, and belly dancers. If I saw a pic of a woman that was dressed that way, I'd fetishize them. I'd say very sexual things to them.
The damage was done, but Jorn was not going to abandon the platform. He took down his overly sexual content, but left his other videos up. He had hoped to lay low for a few weeks and resume making content after people had moved on.
I privated my more sexual videos when I should have deleted them right away. I thought everything would blow over and I could put said videos right back up.
Those trolls, however, had different ideas, and Jorn received the same treatment usually reserved for people who appear on To Catch a Predator. Phone calls were released. His chat logs with the catfish were analyzed, his original songs parodied, and hundreds of hours of content mocking his acting and music were uploaded to a platform he had once hoped to conquer as a full-time YouTuber. Not to mention a Google Drive floating around with all of this cataloged, including a few unflattering pictures, and some very unfortunate coupons. The irony isn't lost that this guy once belonged to the To Catch a Predator community centered around content featuring Chris Hansen. And now, here he is 1 year later being featured in a video as a predator by Chris Hansen.
And, there was one other thing. What is it? I'm not a pedophile!
The collateral damage reached Jorn's real life, and he was blackballed from his local comedy community. The fledgling comedy career that he had spent years trying to build was now over. They could forgive him for being chronically unfunny. They would not forgive him for fetishizing children. Jorn sensed the end was near, and he would leave YouTube with the promise to seek professional help.
Anyone can say they've changed and aren't going to do wrong anymore, but my best thinking, realistically, got me here. So that I can really change my actions and thinking, I'm going to start seeing a mental health specialist. These issues I have need to be resolved so I don't hurt anyone else.
There was no official plan or timeline of when or if he would return, but if he did, it would be as a better, changed man. 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks later, after terminating his channel, Jorn would secretly return to YouTube with a new name on a new channel as if nothing ever happened, and that's where he remains today. Now called Steer Music, he continues the flirting, the jokes, and the genie talk. The cringe also remains, as evidenced in this video where 4 different versions of the artist formerly known as Jorn argue with each other about which female creator they like the best.
Melina DS is the best! You're crazy, Jazzy D is the best!
No, Super Rona Amira Sing and Play is the best!
No, Aquarian is the best, and I can't pronounce her last name.
I'm going hungry, going hungry. I'm going hungry,
He did add something new. The 49-year-old man with an admitted history of inappropriate conversations with minors has created a TikTok. It's dormant for now, but if Jorn's taught me one thing, it's just a matter of time.
Millennials, they are literally the reason why everything is wrong with the world today. Am I right, folks?
I'm so funny.
WithaWonder continues to stream.
Alright? So if that pisses you off so much, whatever, dude. Whatever.
He claims the money he lost from Twitch was no big deal due to cryptocurrency investments, but judging from the videos where his mom is kicking him out of the house and pouring a bottle of water on him, that story seems unlikely.
Sorry, sip of water.
He maintains that everything was just a joke, and in one very honest moment, he agrees with the Twitch ban, saying he took things too far and they had every right to remove him. That doesn't mean he hasn't tried to come up with methods to get around the ban.
Anyway, so here's what I'm doing. I'm going to stream 4 hours a day on Twitch on a secret account, and I'm going to use a voice changer, and I'm going to sound like a girl. Oh, you see, so girls are not funny, right? Girls are not funny. But, so I will basically be the first funny female on Twitch, because I'm not a female, because I'm a guy pretending to be a girl. So I'll probably get so many viewers off that. I have a 200 IQ.
At the same time, he has outright said that the chat logs were faked, and he never had a sexual conversation with the minor.
There was many accusations made against me, all fake. So basically, I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying I morally don't care if a country sets the age of consent to 14.
He could theoretically be telling the truth. The chat conversation could be exaggerated or outright fake, but to most people it won't matter because those comments he said 100% came out of his mouth.
Anyway, right? So I figured, okay, if she's already doing it with all her school friends, I don't really see a moral problem. 13 is a little young. You got to draw the line somewhere. But but now my moral view is age 14.
And those comments alone should be enough to get you banned from every platform where there is a chance of coming across minors or inspiring others to harm children. It doesn't matter if they were jokes. If we are going to protect speech on the grounds of race, religion, sexuality, and so on, then how does YouTube turn a blind eye to someone who is regularly discussing breaking federal law and proudly declaring to be a
pedophile? I'm proud of being a pedophile.
What responsibility does YouTube hold in this? How different would the Austin Jones, EDP, and Lion Maker cases have been if YouTube would have stepped up as soon as credible evidence of crimes was presented? In the case of Lion Maker, his channel remained on the platform until 2020, despite him being jailed in 2016 for sexual crimes against children and possession of CP. Not only was the channel still up, but it was monetized, and it was Lion Maker's only source of income from 2016 until the channel's ultimate demise after mountains of backlash 4 years later. Somehow, just like Jorn, WithaWonder remains on YouTube today. One guy who was admitted to contact with minors as well as a number of terms of service violations, and another who made so many comments about dating children and those alleged screenshots that Twitch had no choice but to terminate him. But for reasons unknown, their YouTube channels remain untouched. They both invoked religion as part of their apology.
I would want people to know that I believe God is real, and I believe that I do believe in being morally good people and trying to live a good and trying to live a life where you don't hurt, where you don't mess with anyone else, you don't hurt anybody else. Yeah.
I was raised in a Christian family where I was taught to respect women. I was taught to protect, not predate, children. I left the church years ago, and I must have left the lessons of respect behind. What a stupid thing to do.
This is especially ironic coming from Jorrun, considering a little over 20 years ago, he was a featured actor in a movie made by the actual Church of Satan, but why nitpick? They also both expected this to all go away, just blow over so they could return to business as usual. This seems to be the common school of thought though, because not only did Jorrun do it, but WithaWonder said the same thing.
And so I was thinking of taking like two or 3 weeks off just to like let it blow over, and
not to be outdone, just 3 months after being busted while trying to meet a peddler of tempting teenage treats.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
EDP445 has returned to YouTube and Instagram with new names on each platform. He too thinks everything is blown over and he can get back to making content, making jokes, making threats, and making teenage fans on a platform he has no business being on. On July 14th, 2021, I posted about this very video on Twitter, and WithaWonder himself responded. What did he have to say to me? I'm pretty sure I said I think below age 14 is bad, and I think age 14 is fine to set as age of consent. And I am most attracted to girls age 18 to 22-ish, and I don't want to date below that age. I guess I don't care either way, but just wondering. Anyway, seems the internet has mostly stopped caring about me now, which is what I want. So, good for that. So my question to you is, will you forget? Does this kind of thing matter to you? Or is it all just a joke? I am all for freedom of speech, but YouTube is a privilege and not an inalienable right. As long as a platform is open and accessible by children, it is YouTube's responsibility to try and keep it safe. I am in no way a fan of the watering down of comedy with political wokeness, but there is a difference between free speech and making comments like this.
I have sex with many 16-year-old girls, And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a pedophile.
Because whether it's a joke or not,
the truth is, when I said that joke, I was a virgin. I never even had sex with any girl when I made that joke. So I was just a virgin troll. I was just a super virgin troll trolling on the internet.
that is never excusable, especially when you justify it like this.
You can change your moral view. So on Twitter I said 13 kinda, but now I realize, 13 is kinda young. Like 13 is like when the period starts. Yeah. I guess age 14 is where I don't see a moral problem with it.
But who knows? Maybe I'm taking it too far.
I was saying I'm a pedophile for having sex with 16-year-old girls. And the joke in my mind was, that's not what a pedophile is. You're not a pedophile if you have sex with 16-year-old girls. So I was joking with the chat.
Because after all, it's just one big punchline.
I'm proud to be a pedophile.
Until it's not.
Anybody who supports this kind of behavior, anybody who's on for the ride, who's pushing him into thinking that this is okay and enabling that type of mentality, you should also be ashamed of yourselves. I'm not sure how he has a fan base. I'm not sure how anybody watches him seriously. I'm not sure how anybody gives this man money. But I think he's a piece of shit. I think he needs to do better in life. And that's not just based off of one thing. That's based off of a variety of things. Do better in life, bro.
And I'm fighting for freedom. I'm fighting for fairness. I'm fighting for a future where we don't have to be afraid of a tyrant. All right? So if that pisses you off so much, whatever, dude. Whatever.
Perry Caravello is an actor, comedian, content creator in the digital world, and a very, very popular person on Twitch. And we're lucky to have him tonight to talk about some of these issues when you look at different content creators who try to go right up to the line and in varying degrees of success and failure, cross it. Perry seems to be pretty good at getting right up close to that line without crossing it. Perry, thanks for being with me. How you doing?
Chris. Very well, Chris. Thank you.
Awesome.
Very thankful to be here.
Well, it's kind of you to be a part of this. You know, we were talking earlier about edgy content creators, and we've focused on some of them who have crossed that line and engaged in, very sketchy illegal behavior. EDP 445 allegedly. You've got WithaWonder, who is accused of having inappropriate conversations with young girls. And they do this under the guise of being edgy, creative, and trying to draw in viewers. You do it a different way. Give me a sense for how you create interest, create an audience without going too far. I just become myself. And a lot of people like to go overboard, and some of them do it the perverted way by coming on to children, meaning young underage female children that likes to pick up on these underage girls and get themselves in trouble. I, on the other hand, am not like that at all. That's not my goal. What do you think your allure is? Why do you think people want to watch you on Twitch, sometimes 1,000 or more at a time, which in the world of Twitch is a big deal. That's a big audience to have that in a live stream. To see you do basic run-of-the-mill stuff. I mean, you'll eat a pizza, you'll take on a bet or a wager or from a watcher, viewer, listener. What do you think the appeal is? People... Mr. Hansen, look and listen. I got a temper, and people love to see me blow up. They just love it. They think when I lose my cool, or just when I lose my mind, it's funny, and it sometimes is. But there's other times that I blow up so much that I get this pain in my chest, which is actually my throat going out of my mind, and they just like to see me go crazy and lose my mind and lose my temper.
How much of it is an act, Perry, and how much of it is you really getting tweaked by something somebody says or something that has happened in your personal life?
It's all me. It's all me. There's no act here at all. For better or for worse, it's all me.
There's a lot of rage, fits of rage in your...
Yeah, and people love to piss me off, and that's me.
What pisses you off most, Perry?
Being accused of killing animals, my girlfriend's cats. That's a hogwash. I mean, look.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because it is part of your persona on Twitch and other places. Your girlfriend at one point accused you, or somebody accused you of killing your girlfriend's cat.
She didn't accuse me at all.
Someone
look, my friend Linda Johnson had 2 cats, okay? And they were getting sick. They were puking all over inside the bathtub. They were just making the bathroom a smelly, stinky, disgusting mess. And she called me up and told me to come over to help her bring these cats down the street to the veterinarian. And this was after when I had my truck, before my truck got rear-ended and totaled. I moved her from the Valley over to an apartment in the Hollywood area. So she invited me over to help bring the cats in the back of my truck down the street to a veterinarian to see what the problem is with the cats. So we bring them down to the veterinarian, and we're both sitting in the waiting room and stuff. So then she goes in and talks to the vet, and I guess the vet just basically told her that these 2 cats are deathly ill and they need to be both put to sleep.
So how do you get accused of killing the cats if it was an act of empathy?
In a text message, Linda made the remark, she says, "I'll never forgive you for killing my cat."
And that got out and
that text message, and that's 1 cat, but there were 2 cats. So I didn't kill any animals. And people found out about this, and it went all over the place, and they blow it out of proportion, and this and that, and then they're saying that I'm a cat killer and a murderer and all this other garbage, and that I killed my friend up in Big Bear and a bunch of other baloney.
I mean, do you like having these controversies? Does it feed into your
I can't stand.
Online?
No, I don't like hearing these controversies at all. No.
Tell me about this 1992 incident on set. This was sort of I guess you could say.
What are you talking about?
There was an incident that you've referred to before that people talk about, where you were on set shooting a project and you were created a controversy and it ended up working out well for you. But explain to me why people care so much.
Look, we're on the internet and we're world round, and I'm not telling the full situation.
Because
I'm telling this one last time because I respect you. I answered an ad in the Penny Saver to become a film actor, a movie star. Okay. Mm-hmm. And of course, what are you? You're an extra. You're a film extra. So what did we do? Our first job was to go to Magic Mountain Studios over just down the street from Magic Mountain and do this billboard ad shoot. So we're all dressed up like doctors and nurses, and we're standing on this platform doing a film, a camera shoot for a billboard ad for Alvarado Hospital in San Diego. Okay. Well, after that evening ended, it was middle of the night. I forget the exact time hour, but after that evening ended, there was one of the girls on the shoot whom to me was a Shannon Duarte lookalike. She looked a lot like Shannon Duarte to me. Her hairstyle, her makeup, she reminded me of Shannon Duarte. I didn't make the comment that she's a Shannon Duarte lookalike to anybody on set. I was just, in my personal heart, I looked at her like a Shannon Duarte lookalike. Very nice young lady, Okay, I don't remember her name. Some time ago. At the end of the shoot, again, she asked me for directions back to the freeway. So I says, follow me. So she follows me, and I pull over on the freeway on-ramp. And I says, do you know where you're going now to leave, or is everything fine? She says, yes, I'm fine. So my natural reaction is to kiss a girl on the cheek goodbye and, leave. So I reached my head into the car to give her a kiss in the cheek. She moved her entire body to the passenger side of the car, thinking that I'm going to... The comment was... Excuse me. The comment was she thought that I was going to rape her. And that's complete BS. No freaking way am I going to do anything despicable like that at all. Okay? So I backed off. I apologized, and I got into my vehicle, and I left.
End of story.
End of story. Exactly. End of story there. Okay. I get a phone call at like 10 a.m. the next morning to go back to the casting director's office in North Hollywood. So I did. And he stares me down. He stares at my crotch. And I looked at him eye to eye, and I says, I'm not sucking your dick. And he says, well, if you don't suck mine, then I suck yours, and you jerk me off. And I'll set you up with a job with Christina Applegate tomorrow. I didn't like that. That was to keep me from getting in trouble. It was his comment. If you want to, and he goes, I know the owner of the Comedy Store, the owner of the Laugh Factory, the owner of the Comedy Magic Store, the owner of the Ice House. Like, I cannot perform open mic stand-up anymore if I don't do what he's requesting. So I says, I'm not sucking your dick. And he says, and then he looks at me and he says, then I suck yours and you jerk me off. And I'll set you up with a job tomorrow with Christina Applegate. And the wheeling and dealing turned into, I allowed him to do what he did, and then I did what I did, which to me, to this day, still disgusts me to death. And people like to say that I sucked him off and that I'm gay and a bunch of other bull crap and that I was harassing him, and it's just all a bunch of baloney. And I'm tired of it. Sick and tired of it.
So how did you put this in your past? I mean, it sounds like to say the least, an unpleasant.
Put it in my past. I've been trying to put it in my past. It constantly keeps coming up. These two bozos that I worked with in my movie. All the people on my stream, they want me to talk about it, and it's just gross. It's just gross.
What impact did this have on you?
What?
What impact did this have on you? I mean, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but the impact, it was supposed to keep me from getting in trouble, but instead, it made me disgusted. It made me very suicidal a couple times. But there was one time I went over to the guy's house that I used to work with in my movie Windy City Heat, and he showed me a video from Entertainment Tonight where he got thrown behind bars for molesting a 12-year-old.
What happened after that incident? Did you get jobs through this guy?
I did one job, and that was it.
And then you were done.
And then I was done.
Moved past it. How important was Windy City Heat for you, the Comedy Central cult classic?
It was my first major film, so it was very important.
Was that kind of a jumping off point for you?
What do you mean?
In terms of your career, did that propel you to the popularity that you experience now?
I guess, yeah. It's. I don't think I'm really that popular, but I guess I am. The stream is what's really making me more popular than anything else ever before.
Do you ever wonder why so many people want to watch you explode on a Twitch stream? What the appeal is? I mean, I know what you think it is, and you explained that, but why do people care?
Everybody loved Sam Kinison when he was alive. And I'm falling into tears thinking about it because he was an old friend. He was an old friend, and his brother Bill and Bill's wife and child are friends of mine. But and they like my scream like Sam Kinison's scream. So everybody needed somebody loud and obnoxious like Sam Kinison. And I guess I was the one that filled up that void. And everybody just likes when I get into an outrage.
So how do you prepare for the stream? Do you go into it each time saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do? Or is it just kind of, all right, turn it on and see what happens and see who's there and see what they say and how I react?
Actually, I turn it on and see what people have got to say and questions that they want to ask me and stuff they try to dare me to do. And a lot of things that they ask me to do, I turn down. But just the other, they want me to lose my mind. And I mean, I'll even give you an example that happened just a few days ago. Somebody asked me to leave sardines in my snowboard boots. And I put 2 sardines in there, but I forgot that I put 2 sardines in my boot at the end of the stream, and it stayed in the boot for like 3 or 4, maybe 5 days. Later, my apartment stunk of fish. I didn't think of it that way because I'm living in here. I haven't left the house much.
You went nose blind.
Right, exactly. Okay, I went nose blind. I got 2 raw sardines in my left boot, and this past Saturday, I'm falling asleep in my chair behind me, and I'm getting all these bugs on me, and I'm smacking myself around. Then all of a sudden, I wake up, and it's like, oh my god! And then all of a sudden, I thought about it. Oh, the sardines are still in my boot. I removed the boot from my snowboard. I first put my arm in the boot, and all these bugs got on my arm. Scared the bejesus out of me. Unbuckled the boot from my snowboard and brought it to the kitchen. Turned it over, poured it into my sink. Bugs went everywhere, and 2 sardines fell into the garbage disposal. So then I, swept all the bugs into the garbage disposal. I cleaned out the boot and sprayed the boot out with the bug spray and stuff. But it just got scary.
I see some balloons in the background there. What is that all about, Perry?
Somebody sent these. Somebody said happy birthday, and then there's a rainbow boot.
Just got them recently, or?
I'm not a balloon collecting kind of guy. Not at all. It's just I get these sent to me every so often.
And how would you describe your fan base, Perry?
A little neurotic, some of them are fun, some of them are neurotic. But I get sent stuff all the time. I mean, like today, I went to my mailbox and I got a ton of big boxes of stuff. I don't know what's inside them yet because the stream is not starting. So my Friday is my mail day. Friday is on my stream. It's when I open mail on the stream. So
give me a sense of some of the things you receive in the mail that you open on the stream.
Wow.
Besides balloons.
Well, balloons that's nothing. But I mean, I've gotten I've had what have I had? It's on my stream. I've had pictures of like the pictures behind. Here, let's move this over so you can see the picture. Like these paintings of jokingly like of me and stuff. Me and
I can see it,
Jesus Christ and stuff. It's just crazy stuff like that.
How would you describe what you do for a living, Perry?
People are becoming obsessed with me, and I don't get it. The stream is becoming really huge, and it's fun. It's fun and everything, and it's really nice. And I got an Adult Swim job because of the stream, which is really, really I'm really thankful for.
This is a cartoon series, is it?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's a little shoot. It's actually, you'll see me, not in cartoon form though. But they wrote a character for me, all based on my stream. So they're kind of obsessed with my stream, and they watch every stream, and they really keep my P's and Q's in character, so I don't lose my mind.
You talk to content creators in over decades that I've been in this business, and for instance, Opie and Anthony, when they're on the radio, they're still out there doing their thing, but in a different subscription format. And years ago, they would tell you that management in radio liked to push them to be edgy, to go right to the very verge of being inappropriate, and that was all fine as long as you didn't cross that line. But once you did, it was hands off. Nobody supported you. Is that kind of the way it is today? And where has that line moved when it comes to this digital world of content creators? There's no FCC, obviously, so you can do whatever you want unless it crosses the line into predatory behavior.
Right. It's almost like
YouTube to take you off.
It's almost like the language on TV now. I mean, you're starting to hear them swearing on regular TV. You never used to hear that back in the 60s and 70s. And they're now slowly moving in. They're now slowly moving into using foul language on TV. I mean, the foulest word you would ever hear on TV back in the 60s and 70s was hell and damn. Now you're hearing the S word. As George Carlin would say, the 7 words or phrases you can't say on TV. I'm not going to say those words, but it's all kinds of shit that the S word, excuse me, that you're not supposed to say on TV. So, bada bing,
Where do you think your career is going to go from here? You've kind of picked up the mantle in some ways of Sam Kinison, as you mentioned, and you favor him in terms of your voice and some of what you do. But where do you take it from here?
I hope things are going to go to the top. I'm not sure. I've only been streaming not even a year yet, so I really don't know where things are going to go right now.
Is the Twitch streaming something that's going to sustain itself? Do you think that goes on for a while?
I think it's going to last.
It turns into a YouTube type thing?
It's going to get bigger. It's going to get way bigger. YouTube. I'm already getting offers right now from big people that I can't even talk about. But TV deals, film deals. But this Twitch channel is going to become way bigger than YouTube alone. And it's all because of my stream.
Is there anything out there that you see in the streaming world that offends you, that bothers you, that you think is...
You know what? I really don't watch other streamers. I just watch my own. I just watch my own. Everybody watches me. I mean, I got this jerk off that calls himself Darkside Phil that's basically my competition that has been I mean I got awards here because I became the best streamer. Hold on. I got this award. This is from Twitch. It shows that Twitch 2020 award, best new channel, Perry Caravello Live. In this chair that I'm sitting in was at one time Darkside Phil's chair, and then this is okay. That's yeah. This chair goes to the best streamer every year. So and he wants his chair back so bad that he's been sending his henchmen over here, delivering garbage on my patio.
You're saying Darkside Phil is doing this?
Yes. I last night it was about almost midnight. There was outside my front door a 4-foot square box filled with trash. Old movies, old record albums, old just garbage. Pornos, garbage. And just all thrown into this box, making it 3/4 of the way full and left outside my front door.
And why do you think it was Darkside Phil who would do that?
He's jealous of my stream. He's jealous of my viewers, jealous of me because he keeps saying that I took his viewers, and I took a lot of his people because I have a better stream than he does.
What kind of a person would pay you $40 to microwave a pizza that just arrived, microwave the pizza for 12 minutes, and then eat it?
Say that again.
On your Twitch stream once, somebody paid you, I guess, $40 to microwave a pizza that just arrived for 12 minutes, and then you actually ate that pizza. Who cares to see that?
Fans. I really don't understand why. I mean, I mean, yeah, I got a pizza that was just delivered to me, and it's already cooked, and then they want me to put it in the microwave again. They love messing with my microwave.
Do you worry that people try to turn you into some sort of a freak show that they're trying
to
prank?
do. That's what they're trying to do.
Is that what's happening?
They love my shop vac. They love my shop vac. They love my microwave. I mean, real quick, my and also my paper shredder. But real quick, there was one bar in the state of Kansas a couple months back that when I turned my microwave around, this bar had over 100 people in there. All they did was just, yeah! I mean, it was just hilarious. They were watching my stream live on the wall TV monitors, and I mean, you saw a little over 100 people in the bar, maybe 500 people, I don't know. But when they saw me turn the microwave behind me around, they just jumped up out of their bar stools and out of their chairs, and were going, yeah! And in the restaurant, I just couldn't stop laughing when I saw that.
How long do you think people watch you, support you on these streams before the next guy comes along and the next freak show takes place? And
you know what? I really don't know. I don't know. It could be months. It could be a year. It could be years. I don't know. I don't know how long they're going to want to watch me before somebody comes along and either I'm going to do what I can, Mr. Hansen, to become better, and they want me, and they're trying, and people are trying to get me to remove my tattoo in Las Vegas. I am not removing my tattoo.
You will be in Vegas, though, and so you're saying you will not remove the tattoo at the next
No
cannabis
way
market.
ever. Nobody's touching the arm. No one. Look, look. From the top down, it's Scary Perry on top. That was my nickname for many, many years. Then it's got a picture of myself, but in skeleton-like. All right, myself meaning the fedora brim, me wearing dark glasses, a skull, which was, kind of the rock and roll look, and a leather jacket with the collar up, kind of an Arthur Fonzarelli or Marlon Brando in his first movie with the collar up, rock and rollish.
So I'm confused. Didn't you have an event to promote the removal of the tattoo, or do I have that
I'm
wrong?
not removing the tattoo. Again, it's not going to get removed. People think I'm going to go to Vegas and have my tattoo removed. Never going to happen.
What about
They want to remove the word snowboarder off my arm because I've only been snowboarding twice. Why have I only snowboarded twice? Because of my financial situation, okay? My financial situation is getting better because of my streams. This winter, I'm in the snow as much as I possibly can to go snowboarding. Yes.
All right. So you've been snowboarding twice, and you're going to pick it back up again because you're doing better with the Twitch streams.
Because I'm doing better financially, yes.
And what about these pool parties you're hosting this summer? Explain that.
What pool parties?
I heard you were hosting some pool parties.
I'm not hosting any. No. There's no parties allowed here. Period.
Not even virtual parties?
No, there's no pool parties are allowed at my complex.
So if I came over, you wouldn't let me
If
come
you
over?
came over if you came over one-on-one, I could be kind to you and sure, I'll let you go swimming. But, that's because you and I are becoming acquaintances / friends. But no, I'm not having a pool party at all. At all. There's no party in any way, shape, or form.
Perry, where do you hope this takes you? This new found fame, I guess, success on the stream. Where do you hope this takes you? I mean, you've got the cartoon show coming up, and that's great, and your appearance. Are there more things on the horizon for you?
I hope. I certainly hope. I mean, I'm looking forward to this cartoon to turn into something huge. And I have other projects in the works that are coming up, and then other film shoots that are going to be coming up, and everything that happens to me is because of my streams. My streams is what's making me a living.
Is there anything else, Perry, you want folks to know?
Perry Caravello live on Twitch.
Got it.
Is the stream that you want to go to?
And what else should people be watching for from you?
Whatever comes in my future. I mean, right now I don't know, other than I'm looking to beat my competition that are going up against me. I mean, for example, like Darkside Phil, who thinks he's. If people try to do what I do, I'm going to stomp all over them and do it better.
All right.
Okay.
Perry Caravello, thanks for taking a seat with me.
Yes,
for this
sir.
show. I appreciate
Sure.
the insight.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you with all your new projects,
Hansen.
and we'll stay in touch.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Chris,
Perry.
Good pleasure to have a little interview and stuff.
Perfect. Well,
I
thanks for
respect
being on
you
the
and
show. I
you're
appreciate
a
it.
gentleman and everything, and I respect you. And let's talk again soon.
Absolutely. Good luck with everything, sir. We'll
Thank
be in
you,
touch.
sir.
All right, Perry. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Come on my stream anytime.
All
before
right,
you
I
go.
might just do that.
All right.
Perry Caravello,
Yeah,
thanks very
come on
much.
my stream. Plug whatever you need to on my stream.
Will
'Cause
do.
I'd more than be happy to invite you on my stream.
Perfect.
You're an awesome guy, and I appreciate this interview. Thank you.
Thanks, Perry. Raees Mohamed is a lawyer from Arizona who specializes in all of these very different facets of what is legal and illegal on the internet, ranging from defamation to, just saying inappropriate things online. Raees, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So in the case of WithaWonder, you've got a guy who has very vocally said that he thinks it's appropriate to have sexually charged conversations, sexual relationships with someone who's 14. Clearly, that violates a whole laundry list of local and federal laws. The question here is that a catfisher posing as a girl who is 17 caught him in a conversation that was illegal in some states, but not legal in others. He lives in Hawaii where the age of consent is 16. Based upon your review of this, did he break the law here?
I would say yes. And first of all, let me just say that, looking at this was very difficult. I mean, this guy, in my opinion, is a pariah of social characters, right? This is stuff you just don't do. Not only, we'll talk about the legalities, but ethically, morally, and if you read in detail some of his comments, Chris, right, and you've probably seen it, that he's made on Twitter, it's absolutely disgusting. It's abhorrent, right? And there's some great quotes that, I could mention to you and your viewers, where he says having consensual sex with a 14-year-old is less of a crime than stealing a 6-pack of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, this is outrageous stuff. And I've gone face to face with, more than 400 predators in my time in these investigations. And this guy certainly fits into that category. Horrible stuff. Is it illegal though? Or is this somebody trying to be outrageous, using his First Amendment right to be shocking and get clicks on YouTube and other social media platforms?
So it's a really interesting question, because the first thing we look at is what the age of consent is, which is very different from the age of majority. Age of majority means something else. It means whether you are legally considered an adult for purposes of entering into a contract, right? So here we have a question of the age of consent, which is specific to sexual conduct. And it is true, it appears that the age of consent in Hawaii and in Maryland is in fact 16 in both jurisdictions. The problem is we have federal solicitation laws that I feel apply here. And it's U.S. Criminal Code Title 18, Chapter 117, which specifically says that if you're using some means of interstate commerce to solicit somebody for sexual contact, right, sexual activities, that it's a crime if that person's not yet 18. And that has an extreme fine, and it's punishable for up to 10 years in prison. So I think that applies here. He certainly used interstate commerce, and aside from all the other state rules that people have looked at, I think this would be a crime under that statute.
He has, as you know, been taken off of Twitch, where he was a streamer with some 21,000 followers, but he is still on YouTube. And it begs the question, Raees, what responsibility does YouTube have here to govern a creator who clearly is outrageous, offensive, predator-like, who likely has broken the law using this social media platform? What responsibility does YouTube have here, even though WithaWonder has not been criminally charged?
So this is a little bit of a slippery slope, and I'll tell you my personal opinion on what YouTube should do. YouTube should do exactly what Twitch and Discord did, which is ban the guy and preclude him from coming onto their platform again. And that's hard to police because you can be anonymous online, as we know. But I think particularly if YouTube is aware of this fact and aware of what he's doing, he should absolutely be banned. 100%, no questions about it.
And to take it a step further, Raees, what if somebody's 13-year-old daughter is preyed upon by this WithaWonder and is victimized either, online or ultimately makes a trip and meets this guy in person? Can YouTube be held accountable civilly or criminal by the parents of that child?
That's a great question. This question raises an issue that is the topic of a hot debate right now at the federal level, right? So we have the statute called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, CDA, as it's been abbreviated. And essentially what this federal law, which has been on the books since 1996, what it tries to do and does very well is it immunizes these online platforms from content created by third-party users, right? So if you're not heavily editorializing the content, which YouTube and Twitch and certainly Discord don't do, then anyone who publishes, any third-party user who publishes content on the platform is essentially immune. So there is a fine little nuance here on criminality, right? And exceptions for copyright infringement. But by and large, I don't think from a civil standpoint that they would have a great case against YouTube. And this is sort of as of recently as last year and this year, there are cases like the Craigslist case where online trafficking is the issue versus simply, soliciting somebody on the other end versus actual commerce. I hate to say it that way, but, sex trafficking, sex being paid for through a channel. And Craigslist is on the receiving end of what judges feel is less protection, if any protection, under the CDA, right? So I think the long answer is that I think you would have trouble. If you're the parents, you're going to have a lot of trouble holding YouTube civilly responsible for this. On the flip side, when it comes to potential criminal liability, that may be something different. There might be something there, depending on how this Craigslist case goes.
The other issue, it seems to me, Raees, is that I know in the case of Craigslist, there are some 60 billion posts worldwide at any given time, and between 40 and 50 Craigslist employees to monitor this. I don't imagine the ratio is too different at YouTube. I've offered YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki several opportunities to come on this show and talk about some of these issues. She has declined on every occasion. The invite is still open. But is it governable? I guess there's two questions. Is it so big that you can't monitor everything, or is it a lack of will and not wanting to create a situation where they're going to chip into the profits by cracking down on some of these predator-like content creators who also happen to garner millions and millions of views and millions of ad revenue dollars because of it?
Yeah, I would say this. I would say the use of essentially every online platform, whether it's Twitch, Discord, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, for crying out loud, all of these platforms can be abused. They can be abused by predators like the individual that we're talking about. In my opinion, he's a predator. Probably in the opinion of most people. I think that platforms need to advance their application of technology. I mean, look, Chris, we have very, very sophisticated, not we, but I should say commercial availability of sophisticated artificial intelligence technology exists, where you can scan an image, you can scan text, where automatically programs can be executed. We use it, or I should say the platforms use it for advertising, which is ironic, right? They use it to make themselves money. So I think there absolutely needs to be some pressure to use more technology to help screen these things out. And, I get a lot of calls from, for example, people who are users on TikTok, who are monetizing their TikTok accounts, who say, look, somebody reported me, and it's a bogus report. They just didn't like my account. And my TikTok account got banned. Well, why is the inverse not true? Why is it that people who are actually offenders aren't caught before 10 or 100 people have to complain about it?
Well, that's the thing that is hard to understand about YouTube. You have a situation, and this may sound self-serving, but I collaborated with Moast, who's a part of this particular show as well, on a story about a YouTube content creator named EDP445. Outrageous stuff, got caught in a sting, lots of questions about the legality of the sting, but a bad guy, clearly a predator who was going after an underage kid. YouTube takes him down, right? Finally. We do the story. Wes does one version, I do another version on this channel. I'm not monetized because of, quote, sensitive social content and violence, because we got into a story about a predator. And they do the same thing to me when we do Hansen versus Predators investigations, where we are on sting operations exposing predators. Those shows are not monetized. Now, we're going to do them anyway because it's the right thing to do. Yet, you've got a guy, for instance, this lion maker who was in prison in Belgium from 2016 to 2020 for rape of a child and child pornography charges. He stayed monetized all 4 years while he was in prison. YouTube subsidized him while he was serving time in Belgium. To further make this murky, Wes's version of the basically same story is monetized and ours is not. So again, I'm not worried about the money, but it just goes to show you how inconsistent YouTube is with its policies.
Yeah, I would say the bane of almost every e-commerce advertiser and content creator is exactly what you've identified, which is the lack of transparency, lack of even application of these rules and community guidelines, right? Every single social platform out there, large and small, has some sort of community guideline. It would help all of us, content creators like you, journalists, bloggers, people who are advertisers, freelancers, everybody to have a fair shake at publishing content that is going to be scrutinized in the same way. And regardless of political sphere, regardless of controversy, right? Controversial content works for a reason. But the irony of irony is your reporting on it is not getting the same level of visibility and is actually being scrutinized more than the actual people who are engaging in the alleged abuses. That's the irony in that.
I couldn't put it better myself, Raees. In another example, we did the television version of our Onision investigation. The content creator, Gregory James Jackson, based in Washington State, who's accused of sexual impropriety and solicitation and abuse and bullying and harassment of multiple young women. It wasn't until in that television series, that investigation, where we took his content and put it up against YouTube's, terms of service cartoon, the good touch, bad touch cartoon, that they finally were so embarrassed that they demonetized him. It's shocking to me what they crack down upon and what they don't. But at least in the case of EDP 445, he was deplatformed. He now has another YouTube channel up, and we'll see what happens there. What do you think is going to happen with WithaWonder on YouTube? Do you think they finally catch up with him?
A great question. I've seen video, or at least video commentary posted about him. I don't know the depths of what type of content is on WithaWonder's YouTube account, but if it's anywhere close to what he was doing on Discord or Twitch, YouTube should act like yesterday. I mean, it's egregious. It's disgusting. The guy's literally playing with himself on camera. He's talking about, there's video that people in Reddit have preserved with this guy, and commentators have preserved with this guy going to playgrounds saying, I'm trying to make friends with kids. Even if it's for shock, right? Even if it's sort of like the Howard Stern effect, if I can use that. Sure. Everybody who broadcasts knows what I'm talking about. It's so egregious that if you take the position, YouTube, that this is not content that you're going to endorse, then don't allow it on your platform. Or take the position that you do allow everything on your platform and you're not going to remove anything, right?
And monetize everything.
And monetize everything, right? No, exactly. It's and again, for people who rely on this as their work in particular, who are commercially, developing content, it's important to them. It's also important to the current society we're in. If you're taking a position on what is morally and ethically or contractually wrong, you have to enforce it. You have to enforce it. You have to enforce it equally.
Have we legally, in this digital world, even come close to figuring out how to regulate this? I can only imagine what your caseload looks like, the cases that come your way, the clients, the matters you have to deal with. It is still, and would appear to be for the foreseeable future, the Wild Wild West.
It is 100% the Wild Wild West. There is no area of business in the universe that is as fast and loose as quick to rise, quick to fall as doing business on the internet, period, particularly in content creation. I can put up a video, monetize it, draw traffic to it, and it could be completely trash. Or somebody who is doing wonderful work, who's not monetizing it, but is just doing it for a public service, could be tanked with a false allegation, right? And so it is 100% the Wild West. I don't know that we're ever going to get our arms around it completely. I think doing it in a piecemeal way is the best way. And the thing is, I want to make clear, I'm not a big advocate for censorship. I mean, there are certain things that shouldn't be on the internet. If people shouldn't be able to publish false and defamatory information about Chris Hansen, for example, right? Defamation is its own animal. That's not protected speech. It hasn't been for centuries, right? But we still don't police it the same way. We still don't police it the same way. And I think Section 230, this federal statute that we were talking about, it didn't have the context of 2020 and 2021 and what's going on in today's world when it was enacted in 1996. So I think we need to revisit some of the permissions and grants that the statute allows. I think it's a little uneven.
Raees, Mohamed, I appreciate it. Please promise me you'll come back on. It would appear that these issues are very much job security for the two of us.
Hey, absolutely. More calls than I can handle, but great work that you're doing. Thanks for having me on the show. And
well, thanks for shedding some light on all this, and we'll have you back again real soon. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
Attorney Raees Mohamed. Wes, I'm first of all blown away again by the great work you did on the piece. Perry, obviously a character, outrageous, but, you know, not breaking the law. These other guys, especially this example we talked about with Raees Mohamed, Lion Maker. This guy was really in prison for like 4 years and was still getting revenue from YouTube after being convicted?
Yeah, convicted, was in prison. I'm not sure if it was for the full 4 years, but I know for 4 years, from 2016 to 2020, he was continuing to be paid on that YouTube channel until they finally took it down when the uproar just got too loud to ignore.
And with WithaWonder, he was banned from Twitch as we have this conversation, but he's still on YouTube.
Still on YouTube, still able to stream, still has fans that are following him. And there were actually people while I was at the live stream, they initially kicked me out. They blocked me, his mods did, and he ended up making me a mod so that they couldn't kick me out so I can continue asking. It was very bizarre.
Well, great job getting the interview, and I'll be fascinated to see what YouTube does about all this in the aftermath of our reporting here. What do you make of YouTube's policy here? You've been a content creator for a number of years. You've seen the inequities. You've seen people like Onision get away with all kinds of predatory behavior. WithaWonder still getting away with it. Lion Maker, we saw EDP demonetized, deplatformed, but now he's apparently got another channel he's launched.
He's back. That. He is back. The notorious EDP is back. He has a few videos. Yeah, it's all the same. It's just a lot of bragging and cursing and talking about how people are jealous of him, and then some gun safety, which is more like, let me show you some of the guns I have videos, and a new Instagram as well. And there's been no level of acknowledgement of what he's done or trying to go out and get any help, which you also saw in the video. Real common trope among these guys is, I'm going to get help. I'm going to get help for what I need, like he did in that Bakersfield parking lot. And then here we are a few months later, and he's right back on YouTube like nothing happened.
Do you worry that by trying to expose these predators on this platform that we are inadvertently giving them the attention they so desire?
Well, I don't know. And that was one of the things that was kind of left out from the EDP video that we did. I just think a lot of people's idea on, crime and punishment is changes by the generation. What would have been considered okay in the 70s wouldn't have been okay in the 90s and so on. And If you talk to millennials and ask them what they think about, would you rather be exposed in a Bakersfield parking lot or quietly go to jail for 2 years? Most of them are going to say that worst punishment is being exposed like that. So I don't know. To me, I couldn't think of anything worse than being the subject of a video being pointed out as a predator with actual proof for the world to see. So no, I don't think we're doing them any kind of service. This is exactly what needs to be done.
Good. I agree with you. So we'll keep doing it. Wes Moast, once again, excellent job. So happy to have you as a collaborator, and let's keep it rolling.
Thanks, Chris.
Wes Moast, thank you very much. God, just so much to take in on all of this, and just stunning that someone like WithaWonder can maintain a channel on YouTube professing that it's okay for an adult to have sexual relations with a 14-year-old girl. And we heard from, Attorney Raees Mohamed about the serious legal questions here. We will continue to report on this story and other predators, as well as so many other things. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back very soon with another edition of Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. In the meantime, check out our podcast, Predators I've Caught, on Apple Podcasts and every other podcast platform. You can reach me here or on Instagram, official Chris Hansen, at Chris Hansen on Twitter, and Chris at predatorpodcast.com. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'll be watching.